Ever step into a home that just feels peaceful? No cluttered corners, no overflowing countertops, just a sense of calm. It's not about cleaning all day, it's about smart habits. I used to think a tidy home meant constant work, but then I noticed something. The women with effortlessly clean homes, it's what they don't do that makes the difference. So today, we're diving into 9 habits tidy seniors avoid at all costs. Drop these, and your home will feel lighter and more joyful. 1. They don't keep just-in-case items. You know the feeling, that little voice in your head whispering, I should hold on to this, just in case you lose weight, just in case you need that old gift box, just in case you might use that kitchen gadget you haven't touched in 10 years. Well, let me tell you, just in case is the quickest way to a cluttered home. I used to be the queen of just in case. My closets were filled with old clothes. My kitchen had drawers full of gadgets I didn't even remember buying, and don't even get me started on my storage bins, boxes of random odds and ends that I might need one day. And then, one day I had a moment of truth. I found myself holding on to a pair of jeans from the 80s, thinking, one day I might fit into these again. Spoiler alert, that day never came. And even if it did, would I really want to wear 40-year-old jeans? That's when it hit me. Clutter isn't just about stuff, it's about energy. Every item sitting there unused is a tiny weight on your mind. It's one more thing to shuffle around, one more thing collecting dust, one more thing that takes up space without serving a purpose. So now, if I haven't used it in a year, it goes. No more just in case. No more maybe someday. Because a home full of just in case is really a home full of stress. And wise women, we choose peace over an old sweater we might wear one day. 2. They don't let paper pile up. The paper problem. Bills, receipts, junk mail, newspapers, old greeting cards. It all piles up so fast, doesn't it? 1 minute, your counter is clear, and the next, it looks like a paper tornado blew through. I once knew a woman who had stacks of old mail so tall, they became part of her furniture. I'll get to it later, she'd say, but later never came. The stacks just grew and grew, until they were everywhere. Her dining table, covered in magazines, her kitchen counter, a graveyard of old receipts and grocery lists. Even her couch had a pile, right where guests were supposed to sit. And that's when I realized, paper clutter isn't harmless. It doesn't just take up space. It takes over your mind. It creates chaos, makes it impossible to find what you actually need. And worst of all, it never stops coming. That's why tidy seniors never let paper take over their space. They have a system, junk mail, straight into the recycling bin. Bills, filed or paid immediately. Receipts, only kept if absolutely necessary. And here's a little trick I swear by, the one-touch rule. If you pick up a piece of paper, deal with it immediately. Don't put it back down. Don't let it start a new pile. Sort it, file it, or toss it right away, because nothing feels better than a home without clutter, especially the kind that sneaks in through the mailbox every day. And trust me, a little sorting today saves a whole lot of stress tomorrow. 3. They don't keep duplicates of everything. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You open a drawer and find 5 pairs of scissors, 3 can openers, and at least a dozen mismatched coffee mugs. The linen closet, packed with extra pillows and blankets, just in case. And don't even get me started on the kitchen, because somehow you've ended up with 2 toasters, 4 spatulas, and a collection of Tupperware lids with no matching containers. How does this happen? Simple. We forget what we already have, so we buy more, or we convince ourselves we need backups. Because what if one breaks? What if a guest needs it? What if there's a spatula emergency? I used to be the queen of extras. Every time I needed something, instead of hunting through my overstuffed drawers, I'd just go buy another one. And before I knew it, I had a collection of duplicates that could stock an entire thrift store. But here's what I realized. I only ever used my favorites anyway. That one perfect spatula, that one cozy blanket, the same pair of scissors, every single time. And guess what? Tidy homes don't have an army of duplicates. They don't have 5 of ever just in case. They trust that one good quality, well-loved item is better than 5 that sit in a drawer untouched. Because here's the thing, more stuff doesn't mean more security. It just means more to store, more to clean, and more to manage. And if you've ever spent 20 minutes digging through a cluttered drawer just to find the one thing you actually use, you know exactly what I mean. So the next time you find yourself keeping 3 of something when one will do, ask yourself, do I actually need this, or is it just taking up space? And if you can't remember the last time you used it, it's time to let it go. 4. They don't hold on to someday projects. Raise your hand if you have a craft project, half-finished puzzle, or stack of books waiting for someday. I once had an entire closet of someday. A knitting kit I swore I'd use. A half-started scrapbook project with stickers still in their packaging. A puzzle missing 2 pieces because my cat decided they made great toys. And let's not even talk about the fabric stash for the sewing machine I used exactly once. But the tidiest seniors, they don't let someday projects take over their homes. They don't keep piles of unfinished hobbies gathering dust, waiting for that magical day when they suddenly have time, energy, and motivation all at once. Because here's the truth, if you haven't touched it in years, are you really going to start now? Be honest, that sweater you planned to knit in 2003? It's not getting finished. That scrapbook you were going to make for your grandkids? It's still sitting in a box, untouched. And here's the kicker, letting go of unfinished projects doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean you're giving up. It means you're making space for what actually matters today. I used to hold on to things because I wanted to be the kind of person who did them. I liked the idea of being a knitter, a painter, a scrapbooker, but at some point, I had to admit I wasn't actually doing those things. And every time I saw those unfinished projects, I felt guilty. But the moment I let them go, that guilt disappeared. And instead of staring at an unfinished project that made me feel bad, I focused on things that truly brought me joy. So if you've got a closet, a drawer, or a whole room filled with someday projects, ask yourself, do I actually love this, or do I just love the idea of it? And if it's just taking up space and making you feel guilty every time you see it, let it go. Because trust me, clearing out the somedays makes room for what truly matters today. 5. They don't keep gifts out of guilt. Oh, this one. This is a big one. How many times have you kept something not because you loved it, not because you used it, but because someone gave it to you, and you'd feel bad getting rid of it? Maybe it's that sweater your sister gifted you that still has the tags on, or the decorative plate from a friend that doesn't match a single thing in your house, or a set of knickknacks from a distant relative that you dust every now and then, even though you secretly can't stand them. Well, let me tell you something. Keeping things out of guilt is the fastest way to turn your home into a storage unit for other people's emotions. I once had a set of teacups that I hated. They were heavy, chipped, and so far from my style that they might as well have come from another planet. But they were a gift, so of course I felt obligated to keep them. Every time I opened my cabinet and saw them, I sighed. There they were, taking up space, bringing zero joy. Then one day, I asked myself, who is this serving? The person who gave them to me. They aren't coming over to inspect my cabinets. And even if they did, would they really want me to hold on to something I didn't love just out of guilt? That's when I knew it was time to let them go. Tidy, wise women know this. A gift is an expression of love, not an obligation. The joy of the gift was in the giving, not in keeping something forever. You can appreciate the sentiment without feeling chained to the item. So if you're holding on to something just because you think you should, ask yourself, do I love this? Do I use this? Does this add to my life? If the answer is no, give yourself permission to let it go. No guilt, no hesitation, just freedom. And trust me, when you do, you'll feel lighter, and your home will feel so much happier. 6. They don't leave invisible clutter lying around. Now let's talk about the sneakiest kind of clutter. The kind that doesn't scream for attention like a messy closet or an overflowing junk drawer. The kind you stop noticing because it's been there for so long, it's practically blended into the furniture. I call it invisible clutter. You know the kind, the stack of old magazines on the coffee table that you swear you'll read someday. The basket in the corner full of things to sort through later, that's been sitting there for a year. The pile of random papers, half-used notebooks, and coupons that expired in 20. At first these things don't seem like a problem. They aren't in the way, they aren't hurting anyone. But over time, they add up. Before you know it, your home starts feeling cluttered without you even realizing why. Tidy seniors? They don't let invisible clutter take over. They do a little home scan every so often, noticing what's actually in their space and asking themselves, is this adding to my life, or is it just sitting here, collecting dust? And here's the thing, clutter isn't just physical, it's mental. Every time your eyes seine over an overstuffed shelf or a cluttered countertop, your brain registers it, even if you don't realize it. That tiny feeling of, ugh, I should really clean that up lingers in the back of your mind. But the moment you clear the clutter, it's like a weight is lifted. Your space feels lighter, your mind feels clearer. I once had a basket in my living room that was supposed to be a temporary drop zone for mail, receipts, and random things I didn't know what to do with. 5 years later, it was still there, full of who knows what. One day, I finally went through it, and guess what? Half of it was junk. The other half, stuff I forgot I even had. That's when I realized, clutter hides in plain sight. So now I make it a habit, every now and then, I walk through my home, and really look at what's sitting around. If something doesn't serve me, make me happy, or have a real purpose, out it goes. Because wise women know, your home should be a place of peace, not a museum of forgotten things. 7. They don't let their closets overflow. A tidy home starts with a tidy closet. If your closet is bursting with clothes you don't wear, getting dressed becomes stressful, instead of simple. I once held on to outfits that no longer fit, thinking maybe one day, but every time I opened my closet, all I saw was clutter and frustration. Tidy seniors, they keep only what they love, and actually wear. They know a closet full of maybes only leads to a home full of stress. So if your closet is overflowing, it might be time for a friendly little breakup with some of those old clothes. Because a closet full of maybes means a home full of unnecessary stress. 8. They don't ignore small messes. Ever notice how a tiny mess turns into a big mess when you ignore it? A dish in the sink turns into a pile. Little stack of mail becomes a mountain. The tidiest seniors, they don't let the small messes win. They take 2 minutes now instead of an hour later. A dish gets washed immediately. A piece of mail gets dealt with instead of stacked. A jacket gets hung up instead of draped over a chair that magically turns into a clothing rack. Because here's the secret. A little effort today saves a lot of stress tomorrow. And let's be real, life's too short to be battling laundry monsters and mail mountains. 9. They don't let their homes feel like museums. Some houses feel like living history exhibits. You walk in and see furniture that hasn't moved since the Eisenhower administration, dishes that are for special occasions that never come, and shelves filled with things no one actually likes, but have always been there. I get it, letting go is hard. That old couch may be uncomfortable as a rock, but it was expensive. That set of china may be collecting dust, but it belonged to Aunt Mildred. And those decorative knickknacks, well, they've just always been on that shelf. I used to hold on to everything because I thought getting rid of things was wasteful. But then I realized, a home isn't meant to be a storage unit, it's meant to be a place of joy, comfort, and ease. Tidy seniors, they let go of what doesn't serve them anymore. They know a home should be lived in, not preserved like a museum. So if you're still keeping things just because, ask yourself, is it adding joy to your life, or just collecting dust? Because trust me, dusting around something you don't even like is not a good use of time. And wouldn't you rather have a home that feels light, fresh, and easy to enjoy? A tidy home isn't about perfection, it's about peace. And the less clutter you hold on to, the more space you have for the things that truly matter. So tell me, which habit are you ready to break? drop a comment below. And if you love a home that feels light, peaceful, and easy to manage, hit that subscribe button. Because wise women, we make room for the life we want.